Scriptus has come and gone, so let's talk about all the stuff that's currently on my desk, because for such a small show and for being stuck behind a table, I've somehow come home with quite a lot of stuff. First up is something that is not mine. This is actually Mom's Christmas present, and it is a Gold Rush SD. There were a few things like this on the table that were limited edition and were one-offs at the show. We had a couple of the Bungo box pens, we had a couple Winter White SDs, and then we had this Gold Rush. And this Gold Rush was still there at the end of the day, and Mom really, really likes it. And so it came home with us as a stub nib. She did buy this, and it's going away to be part of her Christmas gift. That being said, she's going to let me do a video on it in the new year, so I will still get to make a video on it, but you are going to have to wait on it. I will say all these pens today are going to get their own videos. I'm not going to go super in depth on them today, just for time's sake, because there's a lot to cover clearly, and I want to make sure everything gets looked at. And there is one pen not on this desk that will get included at the end of this video because it has been put away for my birthday. So next up, we have Mom's other Esterbrook pen, which is a Esterbrook JR. I don't actually know the colorway. I tried to look it up. The closest I could get was Pink Swirl, which I don't think is its official name. I feel like it probably had a more official name, but Pink Swirl seems to be the name on the internet for it. And it's super cute. It is a fine nib, which is not normally Mom's nib of choice, but her choices were fine or an extra fine, and this was actually a gift from Esterbrook for helping with setup and tear down and all that fun stuff at the booth. It's a super nice pen. I think a JR will be the next Esterbrook in my collection. I have a couple that I was looking at that day that I really liked. There were some that I sold quite a lot of, including, what's it called? Capri. Fantasia and Capri are just so pretty, and I quite like them. But I think Capri would be my pick. Fantasia doesn't, not all of them fit converters, and I do like to be able to use converters in pens. So I think Capri would be my next Esterbrook. Then we have one of my two pens from Esterbrook. The funny thing is, neither of these pens were really, truly on my list of things I wanted to pick up at the show. This one because I didn't know that they'd re-released it. This is Cobalt Blue. This is an old Esterbrook color that has just been re-released in a very limited release and is absolutely stunning. And my pen has a mini stub on it. We had all the specialty nibs at the show, and it just so happened that at the end of the show there was one gold mini stub left, and it came home with me. So it is currently living on my blue pen, and I'm quite excited to ink this up. It just reflects light in such a pretty way. All of the Esterbrook's at the show were going home in sleeves. Nothing had boxes, but I did like the colors of sleeves we had. We had this blue, and then we had like an olivey dark green. Both were very pretty. And then this is what I switched out the honeycomb for. Apparently my hands don't work today. It's been a very long week. This is the Scarlet. This was on the list of pens I wanted, but it wasn't super close to the top. Sort of there, but not really there. And then at the show, as we were setting up, we were talking about Esterbrook colors, and I discovered that this is the final release of Scarlet. There are 50 of them left, and when they're gone, they're gone. So I got my Scarlet in a medium nib. I quite like how much pink mine has in it. I think it's got a good mix of pink and blue. I was planning on switching for a Nouveau Blue, so it is a pretty big color difference, but I do think it's still quite pretty. The other pens I got were, this was not from the actual event. I picked it up on my way home. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. This is a River City Pen Company nib holder with a Kakamori dip nib. I could not have picked a more perfect blank if I sent him a blank to turn into a pen holder for me. And it is so comfortable. I absolutely adore it. And there will be a video coming on this soon. The final pen is my first Urushi pen. It's an Urushi Quaco Sport from Aging over on Instagram. And it's so pretty. I've seen her make these for months and absolutely adored them. And then she announced that she was going to be bringing a couple seconds to the Scriptus event because the silver like flaked off. And I'm totally okay with a second pen the same way I'm okay with seconds in my watercolor palette. I just want to experience all the things and to try them out. And currently this pen has a medium nib on it. That won't be the case for long because of what's on this pen. I had a Matthew Chen appointment on the Saturday, and I had not decided on the Saturday morning even what I was getting done to pens. But I have now a cursive italic double broad Kaweco nib. And that is going to go on that pen and be absolutely stunning. Currently, it's got Robinson Crusoe in it, which I think also works in that pen. The other pen I got done this year by Matthew was, I've been having issues with my Pelikan M205 in rose quartz. It's just not, I loved the pen, I hated the nib, and I wanted to love the pen in its entirety. So my plan was to just get a replacement nib. They're hard to come by in Canada right now. And so on, I guess Thursday, I decided this was one of the pens I was taking to get worked on. And so I got him to, what I did was I handed the pen over and I asked what he could do with it. And so he's turned it into a stub-like pen. This pen will be getting its own video as well, but for now I can show you the writing sample of the before and after of both of these pens. So that's the before and after of the Kaweco Sport. So that's just my double broad in the burgundy, and that's what it looks like after. So it's actually a cursive italic smooth. And then that's the Pelikan after. So it was an extra fine, and now it's stub-ish. So it's definitely a little bit wider, and it's significantly smoother. It no longer catches as much on the paper. It's a much nicer writing experience, which is what I was after. But I do like that I remembered to do it before and after, because I'm always interested to see what nibs look like after they've been worked on. I feel like that's an important part of the process, and you don't always get to see that. The other thing we picked up, there were two of the chopstick / pen rests from Matthew Chen's mother, who is an absolute gem as always, and she's been making like little rests for things. I absolutely adore them. I have one, Mom has one, they match. Pen shows now are becoming sort of a Noah's Ark event, where it's two of everything that most of the time match. So we now have two matching pen / chopstick rests. Most of the rest of Wonder Pens was practical stuff. So Kaweco clips, converters for various types of pens. Though there were a few fun purchases. Mom bought 2 inks for herself. Robinson Crusoe, which I've actually put in a pen and she hasn't. And then Document Violet from Octopus, which I couldn't actually find a swatch of online, and it doesn't look like the swatch on the bottle, but it is a really pretty ink, so I'm excited to see how she likes it once she has it in a pen. The other Scriptus inks I picked up were Niagara Peach, which I did get a full bottle of. Once again, it's Pannonia ink this year. It's really pretty. I had tried it at the Pelikan Hub a couple weeks ago, and I already knew I liked it. Bouton d'Or from Géobin is a color that I just wanted to try because SBRE Brown ranted about it so much in our 20 questions episode. I just needed to try it, so I'd asked Nelmar from the Toronto Pen Shop to order in a bottle for me. He did, and it flares super badly on camera and is really hard to read, so it's definitely not an ink I'll be using in videos, but it is sort of interesting nonetheless. Any other full bottles in this stack? Yes. Sand Between Your Toes is not a purchase, but I do now own an 80 ml bottle of it thanks to somebody on YouTube who offered to send me theirs. So thank you very much. And then the last 3 full bottles I have are all birthday presents from Kari, who got me Flamingo Pink from a brand I'd never heard of before. But they use the same bottles as Octopus. It's a very pretty pink. We have Brilliant Red by Diamine. And then we have Quink Blue from Parker, which is a frequent color in 20 Questions and also comes up frequently on Desk Chatter. And my response when anybody brings it up is, I've seen it and tried it, but I don't own a bottle of it, and Kari decided to fix that. So I now own a bottle of it. It's a very pretty dark blue. I might actually put it in a pen. We also have an Esterbrook pen sleeve. This is the same blue pen sleeve that is on my pen currently. I think this is Mom's though. So she's left it in the package though. We also have an Esterbrook nib wipe. I hope they come out with these in other colors because they're super great. We were all using these a bunch. There was one on that we had that had been used already that we were using to clean up sample, like the tester pens with at the show. And I found it so helpful that at the end of the day, when we still had one left for sale, I got it. But I do hope they come out in other colors because I'm not really a yellow, orange, brown person, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to have something that I found so useful. And I like their thing on the back. Take a moment, breathe deep, relax. We also have 2 of magnetic pen clips. I, for whatever reason, chose brown in a moment of insanity. Mom chose teal. So, Mom's is teal, mine's brown. The magnets in these, incredibly strong. These are not things you want to have near a laptop. So I'm making sure to keep mine away from the electronics on the table. The other Esterbrook accessory that managed to come home with me is Esterbrook blotting paper. I love this stuff. I wish they sold it in huge bulk packs because I use it all the time. And we had opened packs at the table so that people could see the colors that were in each pack, and packs were being felt by people. And so those couldn't get repackaged, and so I got to take some home and Shannon got to take some home, and I took home the Esterbrook & Co. ones because I already had the animal pack. Then we have penablers. I got O-rings to eyedropper a pen that has since been eyedroppered before I got the O-rings, because Rich and Michaela on the podcast convinced me that I didn't need O-rings to eyedropper a Banu. I just needed a whole lot of silicone grease, and they were right. So now I have little O-rings for the next time I want to eyedropper something. I also got a crab. I said I wasn't getting a crab this year. It happened though. I got a crab. It's very cute. I also was staring at it all day, and I just felt bad for it at the end of the day that no one wanted to take it home, so it came home with me. This was from Fountain Pendulum. They were not, clearly not this year's Scriptus lanyards. This is a Stationery Fest lanyard, but these were one of the things they made for Stationery Fest, and it's a little mini sailor, but it reminds me of the Sailor Mermaid quite a lot, and so I'm quite excited to put it on my lanyard. I also had buttons on my lanyard this year, which is a change from previous pen events that I've been to, so I guess now I've got to designate a lanyard for fountain pen buttons. I have one of the Canadian fountain pen buttons, a Scriptus button, and one of the buttons from Caleb from Wonder Pens, who was making buttons for the Toronto Humane Society. Finally, for this video, we have what felt like my biggest score. I had been looking for a full-size traveler's notebook and posted a few days before the event in the Canadian Fountain Pen group asking if anyone had one they wanted to get rid of. And it didn't have to be new, it could be super used, I didn't really care. And I ended up coming across this. This is an olive one that, including the clip, I believe I got for $40. I've opened this, I've looked at it. She sold it to me as damaged, and I expected the damage to be far worse than it is. which has sort of made me realize like there's a whole sort of spectrum of damaged in items. Like to me, this is used and well loved. I wouldn't call it damaged. So we're gonna open this. So first off, we have the clip. I don't actually have one of these clips yet for my notebooks. Mom has one that she uses. She's got a blue one. I've never had one. And then we've got the notebook itself, which she kept all the original packaging for. I am not keeping an original packaging person. I love the people that are. That just isn't me. So it's also got its bonus elastic. Like when I tell you that I expected this to look worse, for $40 including a clip, like I expected this to look so much worse. Like honestly. Where's my personal one? There's my personal one. Like it's not all that different from my personal one. So it's gonna get some TLC. It's gonna get some leather conditioner. But really, it's in pretty good shape. And the leather's pretty soft, and that's just a mark from where the clip's been sitting. And I think I can probably, with a bit of leather conditioner and stuff, like just bring it all back to life. So I managed to get a full-size Travelers in olive, which was not the color I thought I liked, but honestly, I don't hate the dark green. I've seen some that are very yellow. This one doesn't feel as yellow to me. There is one more item, which is my first hand-turned pen, because I ended up getting 2 hand-turned pen products in the same day, because I got this, but I also got a Heinz Penco pen from Tori on the Sunday as well. If I remember, I will insert a clip of it here, but it's really pretty. And I'm really grateful to have finally found a hand-turned pen that I could get the cap off of myself. It's absolutely stunning. So here we go. This is my first hand-turned pen. And honestly, I was just so happy that I could get the lid off. It was made all the better because Tori happened to be there. And Francisco ended up switching the clip. It was originally silver, and it's now purple. And the nib is also now purple. This is an off-pour, sort of a test rod from their Winter Sunset. There'll be a total, like this pen will get its own video. So it's absolutely stunning. But this is the sort of prototype resin for Winter Sunset. It's not the resin they went with, but I absolutely adore it. And it is their B24 model. So it will get its own video. It's a stunning pen. I absolutely adore it. And I can't wait to get to use it more. I actually haven't even inked it up yet because it's that new on my desk. So that's going to come out hopefully in the next couple weeks. Probably be the first. I suspect it'll be the first of the Scriptus pen videos because I'm really excited to play with it. And it's been put away, so I haven't actually seen it since it got purchased. But I hope you enjoyed this year's Scriptus haul. For somebody that was stuck behind a table, I seem to have come home with a shocking amount of stuff, which seems to be the case every year. But I think Scriptus was my last pen show of the year, so I would say that for 2024, I did pretty well. 3 pen shows, meeting a whole bunch of new people, getting to work a booth this year, and finally getting custom grinds on pens. Previously, I've just gotten nib tunings. I've finally gotten some custom stuff on pens, and one of them is on a nib that I can switch into a whole bunch of my pens. So the next couple weeks are going to be individual pen videos on all of these different pens that I picked up at Scriptus. So I hope you enjoy.